Good evening, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Mr.Fred and Fred. I'm your host, Fred Schultz, and I got a bunch of stuff to talk about tonight. Some pretty cool things and some not so cool things. And I'm going to start out with the not so cool things. Okay. Frank Montresor, his son Tim was very big in paintball, and Tim and Frank and Jennifer, after Tim passed, Frank and Jennifer, they traveled around doing all kinds of things, to help promote the sport of paintball. Well, Frank Montresor passed away last night. Okay. So, I'm sure all our hearts and prayers go out to Jennifer. It's a very, very sad thing that this happened. It's always sad when good people in paintball, are passing away, but I guess we're all going to pass away eventually. That's just kind of how life is. But I just want to pass that along to everybody that Frank Montresor passed away last night. And I know all our hearts and prayers will go out to Jennifer for that. I just feel very, very sorry for that. Unbelievable. And Paul Farrell, Paul Farrell is usually the first one that jumps in. I was just talking to Bud Orr before the show, and we were talking about you, Paul. We like you. Bud Orr and I think you're quite a guy. Not just because you're the first guy on my show every week, which I really do appreciate, but you're just a good guy. I'm one of them guys that I don't even know how to put it. I just like loyalty. And I think you watch me every week. I don't think you've ever missed a week. And I can't even begin to tell you how much I appreciate that. And, Bud and I were talking about, Bud takes and chimes in every day with one of his sayings. And we were just talking about you a little while ago tonight about how much we both appreciate you chiming in and saying what you say. It's very, very cool. And we got Weiss watching right now, my very, very good friend, great guy, Dave Cook. Love the heck out of that guy. So anyhow, the past couple of weeks, I like bringing people together. Okay, I think if we, like my big thing is, we all work together, we make paintball bigger and better. Well, I'm all about making paintball bigger and better. Okay, and I'm all about meeting people. I've the past couple of weeks, 2 weeks ago, I had the guys from Maritime Paintball podcast on, Bradley Odell and Thomas. Thomas, I'm not going to butcher your last name, Thomas, because I know that's exactly what's going to happen. Automag Hank, what's going on, brother? And Alex Twitchy, how are you doing, my friend? Honk, honk. I love you guys, man. You guys are the best. So anyway, I had those guys on a couple of weeks ago, and I enjoyed the heck out of them. And they have a podcast, like I say, the Maritime Paintball podcast. Then last week, I had the Command Bros on, which was very, very cool. I had Rick and NRG1 on. Those guys were a lot of fun. And tonight is not going to be any different. Tonight, I'm going to have a guy that I got to meet right after I got back into the sport. And a guy I've known the like. He's helped me so much with my electronics and stuff. I like messing with him, though. He's fun to mess with. What's going on, Jeff Thompson, Mark Gong. Love you, brother. Yeah, it's that's a shame about Frank Montresor. Just kind of blew me away when I found out. But anyhow, tonight I'm going to have none other than Steve McGuire, and that's McGuire with an A, from the popular Unknown Paintball podcast on tonight. So I'm looking forward to talking to Steve. Steve and I always have some good conversations. And, like I say, Steve's another guy like I am, all about building paintball. And, a lot of people that watch this show have been so dedicated to the sport of paintball. Bond Chicks watching. Hi, sweetheart. How are you? And I just love people that are dedicated to a sport. That's what made the NFL big, and the NBA and all this other stuff, And I just like people that are dedicated to our sport. It's been a rough ride for a lot of years to make paintball what it is today. So I'm absolutely loving it. And so a couple of things I want to mention here real quick is there's going to be a new WCPL tournament that I'm going to be doing this year, and it's going to be August 2nd in Wisconsin. It's going to be at Commando Paintball Sports, and it's going to be a lot of fun. I am actually looking forward to it. It's in Little Samico. Now I got one of those. Got to be right. Wisconsin. It's right outside of Green Bay. It's not too far out of Green Bay. And so what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and I'm going to cheese for everyone. Right on, James. I'm loving it. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to do the first one because normally we make our cutoff at 18 teams, but seeing this is going to be the first one up there, I'm making the cutoff at this one for 10. Everything's going to pay the same. They're going to have trophies, the money, and rings. We're going to just do the whole shebang, and the field is just great. If you guys get a chance, you're going to want to go there and check out this field. It's I got to see it this last summer when I went and visited my brother up there, and that's what really hooked me on doing it. And, you know, the WCPL, I love it, and we're just trying to expand it a little bit here. And so bringing it up north up there, I think, is going to be great. I'm from Wisconsin originally, and I am looking so forward to taking it back there. I think it's going to absolutely be great. And you're going to want to jump on. Look for fun at commandopaintballsports.com. And because they've got other events. They got a 3-man tournament coming up March 9th. They got a scenario game coming up June 22nd. And then they've got the Last Light tournament in November 1st. Now, the Last Light must mean just before the winter hits. That is definitely the last light. So anyhow, but mine is going to be August 2nd, and you're going to want to be checking it out. We're going to be talking about it. It'll be on the WCPL page, and it's going to be pretty cool. I am looking so much forward to expanding the WCPL and going up to Wisconsin to do it. I think it's going to be absolutely great. So if you get a chance, Commando Paintball, play Commando Paintball. Get up there and check it out. Heck of a field. I mean, it's great woods ball field, but it's not just woods ball. He's got some very cool things out there. And then I got to mention Jim Lively. Jim jumped in. He's going to work under the umbrella of the WCPL this year. We're letting him do a tournament up in Malala, Oregon, and it is going to be September 6th and 7th. And it's at Splat Action Games up there. That should be pretty cool. I'm looking forward to that. I'll be up there hanging out with Jim and having a good time. And I can't wait to do it. Heist Paintball will have to be there. Gabe Ramos. Hey, what's going on, buddy? You know, Gabe, any one of these you go to, you're going to have a good time. Because that's one thing the WCPL stresses, you know, is the guy that really started this and got a hold of me and got everything up and running was Kevin Donaldson. And Kevin's putting together the East Coast one right now. But, you know, we've got Kevin does his. Dan Colby is another owner. Dan has Panhandle Paintball down there in Florida, another terrific field. I'm having my one out here at SC Village down there in Corona. You know, SC Village, very well known for many, many years. And then I'm going to do the one, we're going to do Lively's in September. Then I'm going to do the one that is in Wisconsin, the new one in Wisconsin. I think that's going to be an absolute blast. Like I say, I'm only going to do 10 teams this year. Next year, I'll do 18. But so the first 10 teams that jump into it, I'll be putting it up on PB Leagues here pretty soon. The first 10 to jump in are the first 10 that are going to do it. So I'm looking forward to it. I really, really am. The New York Classic confirmed. You know what? He's working on it right now, Devin. As everybody knows, you know, he had a little trouble with the field that Jerry owns. And Kevin is putting together something else that should be pretty cool. You know, Kevin, he's always working on it. You know, this stuff is not easy. You know, anybody that thinks this stuff is easy, give it a shot and then come back and talk to me. It'll happen though. And then Lively's tournament, you know, that's going to be a lot of fun. And then obviously we're going to do Gateway Classic. Tim Schlosser's. That is the one where we end up at the very, very last year. It was absolutely fabulous, and I think this year is going to even be better. He makes the cutoff at 18 teams also. So no more than 18 teams. Those 18 teams had a riot. Because, the way I judge this stuff is when a team goes out and just gets blown away the whole tournament, and then afterwards they say they had such a great time, they can't wait till next year. That's when you know you got it going on, period. And, keeping it at 18 teams right now, it makes sure that everybody has a terrific time. We absolutely love it. So let me get my shout outs real quick, because I've got actually my largest critic of my monologue at the very beginning of my show coming on tonight. Actually, my very largest critic of it. So he thinks anything over 37 seconds is too long for me. So let me get my shout outs real quick so I can bring him out here and let him tease me. I start every week with Tim Schloss. Tim Schloss at Gateway Paintball in St. Louis. Terrific field, terrific guy, owns Tiger Stripe Camouflage. He's just great, and the field is great. You're going to want to check him out. And then Dan and John Colby, they own Immortal Air now, was Air America back in the day. And you'll see my little buddy's got an Air America shirt on tonight, one of the special ones that I got a few of them too. You can't just really get these bad boys anymore. So these are history. And then Bud Orr, I talked to Bud before the show, just so everybody knows. Bud wants to be on the show, but Bud had an operation. He had a hernia operation. Okay. So it's just a little rough for Bud to sit and do anything. And his wife, Kathy, is keeping the hammer on him. She has to keep the hammer on him because, Bud's going to get up and go do a bunch of things, man. So, Kathy, she's got the hammer on him. If he gets up and does anything, she's going to knock him down. So, Bud, we love you. And I just want you to get well. And when I talked to him earlier today, he'd go, I want to be back on next week. I want to be back on with you next week. And you know what? You'll be back on next week, buddy. No problem at all. Eileen Gee, how you doing? Yeah, that's very sad about Frank Montressor, isn't it? Jamie Conley. Yep. Gosh, it's Jamie Conley's team won the WCPL in St. Louis last year. Man, his team played absolutely great, and looking forward to having them come back, maybe come up to Wisconsin. Because, like I say, once I posted, I'm only taking 10 teams. I made the cutoff at 10 this year so we could keep a handle on it. I'm going to make it a one-day tournament on a Saturday, August 2nd. So, and if you get a chance before that, Commando Paintball up there, you're going to want to go play it. What a great layout this guy's got. Terrific. It is. And then Tom K, Airgun Design, was my sponsor, Automag for years. Rainey and Juby Boucher, Paintball News. Love them. Love them both. They did a great job. So much for paintball over the years. Randy Camilla was the editor for APG, gave me my very first cover shot. Jerry Braun had Paintball Sports magazine back in the day, and he has Paintball Sports Field out there in Newburgh, New York right now. And then Ross Alexander, Ross had Line SI, was my very first marker sponsor. A terrific guy. I can't say enough about this guy. This guy, I just love him. He's just a great guy. And then Jim Lively, I told you about Jim's event coming up. Back in the day, there was a couple tournaments you wanted to play. Jim Lively's Masters, Jerry Brown's World Cup. Cool. 3 cools. That's cool. Anyhow, and then I got to mention Gino from Belkin. Gino's a good guy. Gino does an awful lot for the sport of paintball that people really don't get to see behind the scenes, the stuff he does. But and plus he's making killer paint right now. Absolutely love the paint. We use the paint now in the WCPL, and we absolutely love it. Really, really do. And then I say hi to my 2 little buddies every week, Mark Gong Jr. and Jaden Gong, the sons of Mark Gong and Lily Gong. They are absolutely terrific. They are the young guns. They are the future of paintball. And I could not be more proud to say that I know these kids, and I've watched these kids grow up over the past few years and turn into the players and the young men that they are once they're off the field. They are so polite and so nice. I think that comes from Lily, but I'm not going to say that. But you know what? They're the greatest kids in the world, and that's the future of our sport. We want people, win, lose, or draw, to come off the field and handshake the other people instead of coming out swearing and yelling. That doesn't build paintball, not at all. And James Stevens watching. How you doing, Spike, my friend? So, and Jamie Conley, it's close. We will definitely try. Well, Jamie, you guys did a great job last year, and I know you got like what, 500-600 people on your team now, so I'm sure you could put a couple different teams together. Just messing with you. All right, so let me see. I went 17 minutes. God, I was trying to go just long enough to turn him red because he's getting red right now. But I'm going to bring him out here. A guy I've known for a long time. Guy I have a lot of fun with. He's pretty cool. Electronics wizard, something I'm not. I might be better looking, but that's it. So anyhow, please, everybody, welcome Mr. Steve McGuire. What's going on?
Hey, Fred. Welcome to be glad to be on.
Hey, cool
While you were talking about the WCPL, and
was I talking about them?
A little bit.
Okay.
I realized that. So you're one of the big guys, and I'm on the show with you. And then you mentioned Kevin Donaldson, who gave me this hat. He actually signed it, him and Rosie. Then it's just throw that out there.
Very cool. Yeah, I love it.
Not easy to get.
Nope.
But I'm one of my favorite things. And then, as you mentioned, this is actually one of Dan Colby's personal shirts. It's from the Thailand trip. It's got that across the back, but I'm all tied in, so I don't spin around and show it.
I was in Thailand, so yeah.
I know you were with him when this was worn. This was literally on him when you were there. Like this is not a
lot of those out there. Yeah.
No. And then you were talking about Jim Lively and his new, and I helped create. Well, I created the logo and I helped him name that. So I'm just tacking off all the things that the WCPL is, and how just little bits here and there that I just anyway.
Well, what we got to do now is there's 4 owners of the WCPL. Kevin Donaldson, you have the hat.
Yep.
Dan Colby, you've got the shirt. I sent you something. I can't remember what, but I know I sent you something.
Well, and there's now we got to get of stuff called Stronghold.
Stronghold, yep. And so now we got to get you something from Tim Schloss. He's the last of the 4 owners right there. And so we got to get something from Tim Schloss for you now. That'll be pretty cool. Yeah.
Just anything I can do to help him. He doesn't have to send me anything. Maybe I can just help him with whatever.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. That would be cool. Tim's a great guy. Tim and I go way, way back. We got Mark Yagong watching right now too. You know Mark, right?
I do.
Yeah, we got some pretty cool guys watching right now. Jeff Thompson, got James. I call him Spike. James Stevens, Mark Yagong. Let's see. Oh my gosh, we had James is watching too. James McGuff. I call him Howdy. And Kevin's watching. Kevin Donaldson and Eileen Gee. I don't think you've ever met Eileen. I don't think you've ever met her husband, Thomas Gee. He's like you, and you've been around the block way more than me, but like you, I've met so many people. Like after Frank passed, I must have got 50, 60 phone calls today. Like, no joke. Like they just started hitting. So I'm not entirely sure. And thank you, Kevin, for saying I was instrumental. I had some input when you guys were forming, and that was actually, I think, before you, Fred, but I really didn't do much. I was trying to help coordinate something to happen in Canada, and I was talking with Kevin, Donna.
No, I was talking with Kevin, but in England.
Marcus.
So we were all talking and stuff. Way back
Marcus is actually, I'm not going to say he's not part of the WCPL because he actually is part of the WCPL, but he is over there in Europe. The owners, the guys I'm talking about that actually own this business is right here. It's myself, Kevin Donaldson, Tim Schloss, and Dan Colby. We all have people that help us. We all have people that help us because you can't run this stuff by yourself.
No,
and and Kevin even put on here. Kevin was pretty cool. He just said, "Steve, you were instrumental in helping us start the WCPL." So,
Yeah.
and I talked to Kevin, called me about a year before we actually kicked this off, and goes, I'm thinking about putting together a woods ball thing. Would you be interested? And I'm like, oh yeah, absolutely be interested. And and we kicked it off, and it's been a rough ride. The
It really
problem,
has.
Steve, is there's so many things going on. It's not like you're the only game in town. So we just try to keep making it bigger and better. We got Schlosses where we want it. Schlosses that's out. That's just off the rails. It's so much fun there. It's absolutely cool, man.
Right.
So, but yeah, we're working on it, and I'm bringing it up to Wisconsin now. I'm going to bring it up to Wisconsin this year, and I'm actually looking forward to bringing one into Canada. I think I would absolutely love it. And if I do, I'm going to get this guy right here to be the head ref.
Cliff,
yeah. I don't think he's great.
I used to work for him. I used to be part of the discipline lords. I got. If you had another guest, I'd get up and I would go and I would get my jerseys. But I refereed with him at, I believe, Ultimate for the very first time. They were short refs, and so I stepped in, and he was amazed that I was calling people out from across the field. And I traveled with him into the States. I helped him ref Tippmann Challenge at Hell Survivors. I helped him referee the not Castle Quest at EMR, Quest for the Holy Grail. I helped him referee that down in New Milford, Pennsylvania, and a number of local tournaments up here. Yeah, Cliff is amazing, absolutely amazing.
I had him on the show, and I got to tell you, I like the guy. I just, and he's one of the guys. He's like Andy Starrett. These guys do things away from paintball, but what they do is they put a good light on paintball. Cliff goes and he goes to the children's hospitals all the time to do things for the kids. Because I got to tell you, watching him dress up as a wizard, he looks so realistic.
Or Santa Claus.
Or Santa Claus. But as a wizard, he looks more realistic than the wizards I see in the movies that have makeup and all this other crap. He just looks like the part.
So now we understand why you're growing your beard. You just want to be Cliff.
No, you know what it is? It's funny. Is my wife wanted me to grow a goatee. So I grow the goatee just a little bit, right? And then I get, first of all, Tony Rudick, Paintball Dave's wife, she goes, "Oh my God, Fred, that makes you look younger." And then Eileen Gee comes on, she goes, "Yeah, that beard makes you look younger." So then at that point, Steve, I'm considering a full body hair transplant because I thought if it makes my jaw look good, man, maybe it'll help the rest of me. But that didn't work out.
Well, just remember, there's a limit. The longer it gets, the older you look, especially when it's white. So
yeah, I hear that.
You got to trim it up, which is why I have to keep mine short because this side looks great, but this side puffs out like an afro. So I've got to keep mine down.
Well, you know what I'm going to do is I'm actually only going to keep this for maybe another month, and then I'm shaving the whole thing off because it's pretty sunny out here right now, and I don't want to get I call them a farmer tan, where I finally shave it and you'll see a white beard then, because no sun hits it.
You know what you and I should do? You've heard of Movember?
Movember?
Yeah, when you grow a mustache for cancer research and stuff.
Oh, is that right? No, I didn't know about that. Nope.
So in November, you're supposed to shave everything clean, and then you don't shave for the whole month. You know what you and I ought to do? We ought to have a challenge. I'll shave mine completely off right before November, and we'll have a challenge. Who can raise more money for cancer or something? I don't know.
Oh, I'll do that.
That way there's no losers. You know what I mean?
I'll do that in a hot second. Absolutely. Yeah.
Maybe we can, get a few other people involved.
Losers. There actually is losers because if you consider the guys that make the razors. But, other than that, and look at B. Paxton's watching. Boy, there's another sweetheart, huh?
Yeah, she's raffling off her classic jerseys from when she was in a poster. So if you guys are seeing this, go check out her webpage and stuff, because she's trying to raise money to get her daughter involved in paintball. So she's raffling
how
off
cool
the
is that?
jerseys where she was in the posters and everything, like the iconic one.
Yep.
That's up being raffled off.
I've had her on my show before, and she does a podcast also. Her and her daughter were doing a podcast, and I was fortunate enough to be asked to be the first one on it. So I was very privileged for that. It really, really was. And
I was fortunate enough back in the day before she started the podcast to ask for help on how to do it.
Well, I have to give you credit on that one. Yeah. So B, anything I can help you with, I'm here. Anything that we can help your daughter with to get her into paintball, please do not hesitate to let me know. And I'm all in. I'll help you in any way I can. See, that's what I'm talking about, Steve, is that right there, is helping the good people in paintball. That's what makes everything roll along, Would love to be on the show, Fred, to catch up. Well, you know what, sweetie? I'd put you on anytime. I would absolutely. You are always a great interview. She's winning in interviews. You get her rolling and get her starting to tell stories, and then just go have a sandwich, man, and you come back to close the show out because she just takes over, And the only bad part about putting B on is that really makes me look ugly. That's why I don't like putting all these beautiful girls on, man, because then they're going to go, oh, wow, Fred, you should see you next to her. And I go, I know what I look like next to her.
So that's why you keep having me on. You think I'm butt ugly. Is that it?
You know what? I didn't want to bring that up. No.
All right, so I gotta change the subject real quick.
Sure.
Cliff Meyer said that I reffed with him at Skyball. I didn't actually, Cliff. I was
You
there
played at
reffing.
Skyball.
I played it, and by the way, that's where I met you first.
Correct.
Nothing to do with Kiko. It was you and me. We met at Skyball. But I was playing, and at the time, you weren't allowed to ref and play, but they had such a shortage of refs that I was actually reffing the pros in Skyball 2. And I got the jersey for that, too. But I wasn't actually refing with the Discipline Lords at the time. I was just reffing.
Oh, wow.
And talking, and I hope you don't mind. Speaking of hijacking the show, I hope you don't mind, but I want to give a shout out to Tracy Perez.
Absolutely. I love Tracy. She just got a new dog too. So
yes, we were talking months and months and months ago because I decided that I didn't have a Hormesis headband and I wanted one. And if I'm going to have a Hormesis headband, I wanted one that came from somebody special. Right. And anyway, this showed up for me in the mail yesterday.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah. It is really cool. And so there's like a handwritten note, and it's really short, and it says, Steve, I'm sorry this took so long. I kept this for you since the day I told you I would. Thank you for being such a great person and friend, and I hope this finds you and your son well. Love, Tracy Profess, Mother of Dragons, number 24.
Very cool.
And I don't know if you've seen it or not, so that's a little signature and stuff, but there it is. It's purple with a little bit of pink, and I just absolutely love it. I think
beautiful.
It's absolutely amazing. So now I have one. But do you know what the coolest thing about what she sent, and I think this explains why she's such a special person, is check this out. She literally did this to the box. So the box that it came in, she had like a dragon stamp and her name and a hashtag and stuff. So I cut that off the box to save it. And that's always going to be somewhere in the show because I just think that's like the coolest thing ever. I'll put it back later.
That absolutely is very cool. I love it. Tracy's a great girl. And one thing that I really do like a lot about this, and B, she was one of the very first to, not only to get a lot of publicity because of her poster and everything, but as being a heck of a player. And being a good ambassador for the sport. And now what I see is I love all the women that are getting into it. A real quick one is Eileen Gee that we were talking about earlier. She just got into it like a couple years ago when she married Thomas. And she is probably one of the best lady players I've ever seen. She is, I mean, Steve, she's absolutely killer. Really, really is. And I just, I love seeing the women get into it because, I'm one of them guys that, do I want to see women play NFL football? No, I don't want to see that. Do I want to see them play paintball? Absolutely, I want to see that. And some of the girls that are out there playing it right now, I think they're fabulous. And you know what it does? It makes more, guys will look at that going, God, if this girl is that good, I got to go try this sport because maybe I can be that good. It just, I think it's a good thing. I really do. What do you think?
I don't disagree. I love seeing women play. I'm not a big fan of the all women league, and please don't think I'm taking away from it. It's not a men play better or women play better. It's nothing like that. The thing that I love about paintball more than anything else is it doesn't matter if you're male, if you're female, if you're handicapped in a certain way. Like everybody can play. The paintball markers are the great equalizer. Do you know what I mean? And I really like it when everybody just plays together. And I think that when it separates, it takes away. Now, I've heard the argument that it is less intimidating to get in and get playing that way, and then they can morph over. And that's fine. But I just, the thing that I love most about paintball is it's completely inclusive. Like everybody's welcome. Everybody can come in and everybody can go at it. And when it gets compartmentalized like that, and not a big fan of that, but I'm the minority of that. Everybody thinks I'm full of it. So, but it's not a question of who can play better or worse. It's just.
All right. I got Twitchy on here going, I'm scared to play against my daughter. She's a killer. do you know very many of the Psycho Clown guys?
I've met a few.
This
I've had
is
a
one of
couple
them
on
right
the
here.
podcast.
Yeah, this is one right here. Alex Twitchy. If you get a chance, either friend him or Alex, friend Steve. I think you guys would get along great. He is a terrific kid, and I'm a big fan of the Psycho Clown Posse. I love these people, but he's one of the good ones too. He really is. You get a chance, I think you'd enjoy him, Steve, an awful lot.
Every encounter I've had with the Psycho Clown Posse has been nothing but positive.
There you go.
I've met them all. I've met them everywhere. Like they're everywhere.
Yeah, they go. I go down. What's funny, is when a bunch of them play. Because I played with alongside them down at SC, and when they're ready to make a push, they all have these horns, right? And you want to talk about intimidating? You start hearing it, beep, 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 everywhere, man. It just freaks you out, man. And then they just push on you. They're absolutely great guys. Am I right, Alex? You guys, you get to hang out with some of the coolest, buddy. You absolutely do.
Oh, Bricktop's in the house.
Yes, he is. Guy. Yep. Yeah, Bricktop, I talked about you earlier.
Yeah, but he was being lazy, didn't want to show up on time to watch our show. Like,
you're right, Bricktop. He is a dick. But anyhow.
You know what? Just for that, I'm going to get a giant inflatable plastic rooster, and I'm going to put a giant. I'm going to name him Fred, and I'm going to have this giant inflatable rooster named Fred from now on. You watch.
I love it. What I was talking about, Brick, is that I mentioned at the beginning of the show that I had you guys on last week, and how much I enjoyed it. How articulate you two guys were, and I just enjoyed the heck out of it, and I had a great time. And I'm looking forward to having you guys on again. I think that you guys are really good for the sport of paintball, and just like Steve and I were talking about, I'm really into the people that are good for the sport of paintball. And we got a lady on right now that's terrific, and Twitchy and everybody that's a Psycho Clown Posse knows her. Julianne Santersola, that's Gumby's wife. What an absolutely terrific lady she is. Every time I go down there, I always come back heavier, though. I don't know if she feeds me too much. But, whenever you go to the SC and you see all the clowns out there, she's there barbecuing. It's just like Mark Gong and his wife. When you go see the Hermans play, the youngsters, the whole family's out there. All the families, the kids are out there with their parents. The parents are cooking. The kids are playing paintball. I tell you, Steve, you would absolutely love it if you were out there hanging out with these guys. They're just terrific.
I look forward to it. Hopefully in the near future. I got a lot of things settled up over the last year. I've just got a little bit left to do, and I should be back hopping and popping like I was. You know who else is good like that, by the way? Is if you're ever up in Canada and you see the Intensity booth. Intensity's is a clothing company. And it's just capital N. Sean, the owner of that, he's a really, really good guy. He always takes care of me. I'll show up. He's like, Steve, have you eaten? You know what I mean? And you know who else treated me that well? Was the people from Houston Heat. I wouldn't have expected that in a million years. Last time I was out and around, and they're like, hey, Steve, come on over. Like, we've got homemade cookies. Just like, and this is all like the mothers and the family of Houston Heat just welcome me in. I felt so welcome.
Yeah, that's so cool. Yeah, Bricktop saying, he goes, yep, the clowns are the best. Much love. Bricktop, that's why I like you, buddy. Like I say, you spread it around, and I just absolutely love that, and I think that's so good for the sport of paintball. And that's one thing I try to do is I try to bring people together. Like I say, I had the Maritime guys on the week before. I had the Command Bros on last week. I got you on this week.
Yep.
And the reason I put you guys on is because I just like what you do for the sport. I just like, I don't know, just bringing it together. I hope all my people watch the Maritime show. I hope all my viewers watch the Command Bros, which are on tomorrow night at 6 p.m. Pacific time, 9 o'clock on the East Coast. Oh, there you go. There you go.
And don't, everybody out there listening, don't pay attention to what he just said. He literally just said that he doesn't like having women on the show because it makes him look bad. So he's been having us on the show because he thinks we're all ugly. Like he clarified that at the beginning of the show, and now he's backpedaling.
Oh my God, it backfired on me. Now I'm gonna have Bricktop looking to kick my butt. No, Bricktop, I didn't mean that.
And he's huge.
God, I was only talking about you, Steve. Yeah, I'm trying to find my picture. So, Steve, we just went through the year in paintball, and a lot of stuff happened. And, actually, we lost some very good people, to the sport of paintball. We had Rick Wilcox passed away, and, others passed away. And just a lot of it's a very sad thing. You hate seeing anybody go like that. But, what's one thing in the past year that, it just kind of made an impression on you, good or bad. I like the good better than the bad, but,
well, I first I got to address, Rick Wilcox. I didn't say anything on Facebook because I couldn't. Rick and I talked fairly regularly on the phone and stuff. He would always say, when are you going to get back online? He would contact me, not as much as you did over the last couple of years, but Rick was always reaching out to me. And I considered him a good friend. And I got the call only a few hours after he passed, and I was gutted, and I had so much stuff going on. I didn't know what to say or how to express it. And so I haven't expressed anything at all. And I feel really bad about that. Like, I'm ashamed of myself just putting that out there.
Well, no, you remember them though,
Yeah, but that was probably the biggest impact. And I've said it multiple times, and I'll say it again. The greatest thing about what we do, you and I, is probably the worst thing about what you and I do. We get the chance to meet all these amazing, fantastic, just amazing, amazing individuals. And there's so many of them. And unfortunately, life happens, and that means that we lose so many fantastic people out of our lives. And it's kind of like a double-edged sword, you know, you love it and you hate it at the same time. Like, if that makes any sense at all.
It makes a lot of sense. I know exactly what you're talking about, my friend.
So, and that really hit me. That hit me with Rick, and that hit me today with Frank. And I can't say that Frank and I were close, but I really, really liked and respected him. And I spent a lot of time over at the last few events when I was out and we were together at the same field well, we had some chats and stuff. Hell,
well, we hung around.
The hat that I'm wearing is literally in memory of number 13 of the Master Blasters,
Dave,
right?
Yep, absolutely right. Dave.
So,
he's another one that passed. You know, he went and worked out, and then he went out after working out and passed away.
Yeah.
So that was a trip. And he was one of the Master Blasters, for those of you that don't know.
One of the original core, if I remember correctly.
Yep.
So, but as far as what really good happened last year, I got to work with Jim Lively. Like, I mean, I know the event hasn't happened yet, but I heard he was coming back into paintball, and like, not that he ever really, really left, but I reached out to him and I said, listen, Jim, I hear you're going to do a tournament. And if there's anything that I can do to help, like just get included, like I'd love to do just a little something just so that I can have my hand on it. You know what I mean?
Right.
And he's like, absolutely. And we spent the better part of a weekend working on the logo, which I created, and naming the tournament. And then there's the possibility of something else happening in 2026 that I got to have some input on as well. But that's not anything definite, so it's not going to be talked about. But that was probably my greatest moment, because I think Jim Lively is one of the most, I'm not going to call him underrated, because those of us who know, but not enough people know just exactly how epic Jim Lively was in the evolution of paintball in the very early days, and how he helped switch everything, you know, like grassroots manufacturing, supply, like that's aspect, not just his he had a
lot of people helping him, buddy. You know, I love Jim, don't get me wrong. He had Sam Caldwell helping him. He had Jeff Promoter's the one that put up the money for a lot of that stuff.
Yep.
So
well,
you know,
I'm not saying it wasn't a group effort. I'm just saying he was there. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, he was there. There's no doubt about it, because I was there from the beginning too. There's my picture with him.
Nice.
That was a couple years of the World Cup. That's when I first met him.
Yeah.
Yeah, you go for 5,000 pictures to find that. Unreal. So, but you know what? It's hard for me to look back over the last year and think of anything special that happened, because so many special things happened to me. I feel so blessed about, everything, the people I got to meet, I think are absolutely terrific. And which I've met a lot of new people last year, and just grateful to have my health and everything, to keep on rolling and doing this. And, what I'm looking forward to this year is, first of all, meeting new people. One thing I absolutely love is meeting new people, and then, connecting with the people I already know. That's where paintball tournaments and big games and stuff are phenomenal. You're going to play paintball, you're going to have a great time. But if you really look at the big plus side of all of it, is you get to see your friends that you would normally not get to see, because it's not like you live next door to each other and you can just run over and say hi. But they're going to be at that tournament and they're going to show up. Yeah, there you go. They're going to show up and have a great time, and you get to see them. So to me, that's a great thing. Yeah, and you're twitchy too. Yeah. Go ahead.
As far as this year, when you told me you wanted that's all, folks.
Yeah.
When you said that you wanted to talk about the what we're looking forward to in 2025, I purposely redid the wall to show you exactly what I'm looking forward to.
Playing paintball?
Return of war game products, baby.
Yeah. You know who's doing that, don't you?
Yes, I do, Mr. Mean Gene.
Right there.
Yep.
AutoCockerParts.com. Yeah. He's putting them together. You know, he's got a few things done on him already. You know, he's got his own CNC machines and everything, and you know, he's got the good graces of Bud. Yep. That's how he got the name and everything like that. So I'm looking at one of the first 10 that come out. So he's promised me one of them. So nice. I'm waiting for one of them guys to go and rock it. You know, and it couldn't be done by a better guy. You know, Gene is he's on my team, the band. So you know, he's
the band. I've never heard of it. I don't know what that team is.
There you go.
Never heard of
it. He's like Bud. He's like Dan Colby. He's like Tim Schloss. You know, these guys are such perfectionists on anything they do. You know, Tim's coming out with the new Tiger Stripe now. You know, I can't tell you. It took a year for him to keep sending it in, and they'd send it back, and it didn't have the exact color that he had on the original, and he would shoot it down. So when it finally worked out, we were very, very happy.
Now the new ones are made by a company. They're not all cotton and stitched, correct? They're made
no.
like. Go ahead.
A regular jersey, you know, I think they got like the back is so that it breathes and stuff. It's right. Not like the old cloth, because you can't get that. That cloth, when it was made before, was all printed. That was a printed cloth. It was very, very expensive and hard to do. And now it's a little bit different. And so, you know, I've been fortunate enough to get hooked up with Tim doing this new one. And it's starting to be pretty good. Actually, he just got the new prototype because he took and changed people that were making it and went to a different company. And now we're having pants made, shirts made, jerseys made, shorts made, all kinds of things that are going to be coming out. So there we go. Love me some BG. Twitchy.
I would love to get a black hat like this, and then just the square with the tiger stripe fork, I guess what it's called. Like that would be like the perfect, an old cotton dad's hat with the tiger stripe fork.
Yeah, they call it the 3 fingers. Yep, the 3 fingers. And you know, that's what makes them different from a lot of the knockoffs that are out there. Because you know, you look back, Steve. The only thing that gets knocked off are things that are great. The Automag, the Autococker, Tiger Stripe. How many of those 3 things I just said that are out there that are different, but basically the same thing? They just copied off of them to make their version of it. You know, how many markers do you see out there other than Tippmann still out there for rentals? Because that's probably the best rental gun in the world. You know, it still is.
I would argue that the Paintball Eclipse EMAC is the new.
No way. Not even close. Not even close. You can take a Tippmann and beat the crap out of it. You can take an EMAC and do that, and it won't last like a Tippmann. They're just indestructible. They're like the tank of rental guns.
I'm not disagreeing that the Tippmann isn't like the AK-47, but I'm just saying that when I was at Wasaga Beach and I took my son to play for the very first time, I specifically asked for a couple rental EMACs because I wanted to try one. I never actually played with one, and I had this beat up rental EMAC, and I was blown away. It was bone stock barrel, shake and bake loader. Like there was nothing special about it. But
no, I'm not saying it's a good marker. Matter of fact, I got one around here that they gave me. It's still in the box. I've never even taken it out of the box. It's brand new yet. And it's a great marker. But when you want to talk about roughness, you take a Tipman and you can go out and you can beat the crap out of it. You get these guys falling on it, rolling on it, and everything else. All you got to do is swab it out and it's ready to go again.
Well, I've owned a bunch, and I hate cleaning them. Like when I managed fields and I had to clean those Tipmans with the clamshell and the 7 bazillion. I am not taking away from how rugged a Tipman is. I'm just saying that I think that the EMEC nowadays is just a little nicer. But again, that's
it might be in shooting, but if you want something that lasts, that'll go week after week and get the crap knocked out of it, that's a Tipman. It really is.
Well, yeah,
but a Tipman used to work for them, so.
But Tipman takes hours to clean, whereas with the EMEC, it's just pop it out and pop it back in. It's just anyway. Irregardless, we could argue about this for the next 5 hours.
Yeah, we would. And we got Gumby watching right now too. What's going on, Gumby? And Kathy Alvarez is watching. Kathy just went through. I think you went through some tests for your lymph nodes or something today. So Kathy, we're wishing the best for you. Period. Always. We just want you to get
absolutely.
Better. Yep. So
by the way,
that's pretty cool. Yeah.
This sniper right here. This is I don't want to take it down because I don't want it to get taken off the thing. But I don't know if you can see. It's actually got the ribbed barrel. That's one of the 1.5s. So it's before Sniper 2s. So there was his first run, which are really, really rare. And then there's the second run, which was limited. And the wooden Thompson buttstock got stolen many, many years ago. But
there you
anyway.
Go. Okay. Call me old, but what you put, call me old, but my marker can't have batteries and has to be a pump. There you go. Right on, Twitchy. I got to tell you, Steve, there's kids out here that still shoot pump, right?
Yeah.
They shoot so fast without chopping a ball now. They shoot so fast that you think it's a damn electronic gun. They are absolutely so
the new tech is amazing.
Pump. Oh, it's crazy how fast they are. And and you look at the marker, and I mean you can cock it with your finger, just the side of it. It's just everything's so smooth, and it's just amazing. But yeah, these guys can really rock and roll, no doubt about it, with a pump. So Princess, aka Robert Hansen. And Princess is really his nickname, people. I'm not making this up. That's not an insult. That's legit his nickname. He's saying there's a marker missing from my back wall. Yeah, I had to sell the Beast, which is the purple Automag, and he wanted it, so it's back in Chicago, and it still hurts. So, Rob, I know you're being funny, but please not today. I'm already having a bad day as it is. That's right on, Robert. Hey, I appreciate that, Robert. You give him some crap. I like that because he gives it to me all the time.
But that was below the belt. I mean, I
found that one, huh?
I found that marker in a pawn shop for $40,
and then you know what?
I traded the body. I got it purple. I sent it straight to Airgun Designs, and Sandman completely redid the whole thing, made it so that it was fully tournament legal so that I could use it for mechanical events. I was going to use it at the last Iron City Classic, but my back was thrown out, so I wasn't able to play. I never got to shoot that gun once. And I had to sell it to try to get back to paintball. And so, those guns, that was like my pride, one of my pride and joys. And the only reason why it left is because it went to Robert, who is going to love it and use it as much as, and take care of it as much as I would. Otherwise it wouldn't have sold.
Well, I got a good one for you. I was going to a tournament in Chicago. We stopped at Wisconsin Dells. So I told my wife, I said, come on, I want to take you on the boat trip. So I take her on the boat trip. We come back and they had broke into our Lincoln town car and stole absolutely everything. Well, then about 2.5, 3 years ago, I get a call from somebody up in Canada saying, Fred, I know a lady that just bought your marker up there at a garage sale. And so anyhow, I contact the lady and asked her about it, and it was my marker that was stolen from down here, ended up there. And so I told her, I said, I'd like to buy it back from you. And then she found out that I owned it. It was my marker that I used to play tournaments with all the time. And she wouldn't sell it back to me. And she contacted me about it. But it is, and it's a purple marker because I had the first purple markers out there. It is up in Canada someplace.
Yep.
It was bought
no
at
doubt.
a garage sale.
Yeah, no doubt. And Twitchy, you really wouldn't want this marker, although it's got a great history. The barrel. Go ahead.
Real quick. Look what Eli put on here.
Yeah.
Me, Mr. Fred, and Steve again. I like this format. I'll be saving this for my watch later.
Yep.
Well, Eli, you know what? From Steve and I, we thank you very, very much. That is a very cool thing that,
what is
that
it
you could tell
California us. Say? Namaste.
Now we say bitching when we like stuff really cool. So,
Fair
but you know, it's out here we say that. That's kind of like a surfer term, bitching. But you know, Bud and I say it all the time. But sometimes we'll say that, and people go, "Oh, what are you bitching about?" And I forget it. So, anyhow. So yeah, you know, I kind of like this format too. You know, Steve, I don't do a lot of one-on-ones. I've done a one-on-one the past 3 weeks with the guys that have podcasts. Usually I got like, I won't put more than 6 on because then it becomes a mess. I
don't like having more than 3 tops, 3 to 4 tops, unless I have to. I prefer something
4's good because I can get 4 boxes in. Yeah. But you know, just like when I had the guys on from the Maritime and the Command Bros, and yourself, I'm just glad that we did the one-on-one with it because you know I got a few things I wanted to say, and I wanted to hear all of your opinions on different things. You know, when you got a lot of people on, it's just a little bit rougher to get.
I totally agree.
Yeah, you know, I like it this way too. I think it's pretty cool. Not that I'm not going to have people on because, you know, B, if you're still watching, you know, I'm happy to put you on. That's not a problem. I've got the next couple of weeks jammed up. That's one thing I've been trying not to do at all is I used to take and post a week ahead of time who I was having on, sometimes 2-3 weeks ahead of time. And then things turn up in the meantime. And I'm calling them going, man, is there any way I can forget about putting you on? So I don't do that anymore. Now I don't post it until sometimes Sunday, but usually Monday. I'm like, that's plenty of time right there. Because I just, I hate telling people after I tell them, yeah, you can be on, and get a hold of them and go, nah, I screwed up. Something more important came up. So
Twitchy's asking about the sniper. Can I tell a cool story about the sniper? It's actually got a really good story.
Absolutely.
I'll keep it short.
No.
So at second Skyball, my girlfriend at the time, who is Caroline Richardson, she was known as Saber at the time. A lot of people knew her as Savvy. We were part of the Team Internet project with Tiger. Remember the guy that used to wear the hat and the little tabby?
Yep.
Wrote a lot of articles and stuff. And then there was Matt Shively and Steve Novak, Mr. 44, Bart Hardwick. There's a bunch of us. Anyway, she came out with me to Skyball 2, and I wasn't able to play because I had to go play with, I want to say, Twilight Zone, which is out of Michigan. And that was Kennedy Howe's team. And I wasn't able to play, and I was supposed to be playing Pump at Skyball 2 with the Team Internet project. And so I had the fancy jersey with the Marvin the Martian sleeves and my number on it, so all that. And I said, listen, Carolyn, why don't you play? And she's like, okay. And she'd never played paintball before. Skyball 2, never played paintball before. So that sniper right there, we got it all set. I got it all set up, bow, a barrel, everything, so she could play and she could use. And she played her first paintball at Skyball 2 with that. Very first game that she played, they were playing a team with a bunch of angels, and they were so insistent that they were going to kick the crap out of the Team Internet project that they came flying out. Well, she poked out, she saw the guy charging, and she ran around the other side of the bunker. And so he came around to bunker her. She wasn't there. And she's like 5'1", if that. I can't remember how tall she is. If she's watching, I apologize for missing your height. She ran around behind him and shot him 3 times in the back with a pump paintball gun. I forget what the name of the team was. They were so humiliated. They almost got in a fist fight amongst themselves by how badly they got beaten by a girl that had the pump gun that had never played before. They literally quit.
You gotta love
That was it. That was the end of their team.
You gotta love it, man.
Yeah, Cliff
remembers that. Yep. Like I say, if you get a chance, get a hold of Twitchy, friend him. And you're gonna like the guy. He's I call him a kid because he's a kid, but I know everybody's a kid to me too. Yeah, but anyhow, yeah, he's great.
All right, so the show's almost over. He's asking me to put it in front of. Is it okay if I lift it down? Because if it's on YouTube, it could cut us off.
It's up to you.
It's your show. It's up to you.
No, you want to do it?
Okay,
do
let's give it a rest. In case this thing gets shut down by bots and everything, I do apologize. So 1 sec. But yeah, so it's got the ribbed, and I've still got the sticker from Skyball.
There you go. Beautiful. Well, right on,
live,
Steve.
So yay.
Yeah. You know what, buddy? I got to tell you, I've known you for a few years now, and you and I still got a company, Stronghold, and eventually we're going to get this thing kicked off, and it's going to happen, and we're going to make it cool. There you go.
It was a real toss up. Do I wear the Stronghold hat or do I wear?
Yeah, this? I was kind of doing that too. I went through, should I wear a band hat, an WCPL hat, or a Belkin hat? So I ended up, I got the Belkin hat down there some damn place. But so anyhow, I went with this hat.
So what is this band you keep talking about?
The band is my team. Yeah. Here we go. That's what I told everybody before the show started. It's going to be nonstop. So.
For those of you what? Don't know, I'm probably the only person that hasn't been invited to play for the band ever.
Well, that's because you're stuck in Canada. So, yeah. When you guys become our 51st state, you'll be coming down here.
Oh, don't even get me started on politics. But that's just yeah.
I love it. Well, Steve, you know what? I got to tell you, buddy, I appreciate you taking the time to come on here tonight. I always enjoy sitting in and shooting the breeze with you, my friend, and tonight was no exception. And I want everybody, be looking out for it. It's let me read it now so I get it right. The popular, unknown paintball podcast, because I keep forgetting popular. I'm not going to get into how he teases me. I walk away weeping. But anyhow.
All right, so I guess I should bow out while I get the chance. So thank you for having me on. All future guests know that he's only asking you to come on because he thinks you're ugly so that he looks good. And you all have a fantastic night. Play with passion and keep your paint dry.
Boy, that one's coming back to bite me in the butt. I love it. Steve, you have a good evening, my friend. All right, everybody. That was Mr. Steve McGuire from the popular, unknown paintball podcast. Okay. And Cliff, you have a good evening too. And, I want to thank everybody for watching tonight. I can't tell you how much that means to me. It lets me know that there's people that are really interested in paintball and hearing some of the stories that I bring out. And I absolutely love bringing it out. I just love the people that watch this. I really, really do. So until next Tuesday evening, remember, guys, just like I'm saying, we all need to come together to keep making paintball bigger and better. And look for the new WCPL tournament. It's going to be at Commando Paintball in Wisconsin, August 2nd. You're going to love it. So until next Tuesday evening, 7 o'clock Pacific time on Facebook, please, everybody, play hard, play safe, play fair. Get out there and play some paintball. All right.